Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Nothing I say is financial advice. Go to ztrades.net, check out the terms and conditions page. Read our disclaimer as well as our terms and conditions. If you do not agree to it, do not watch the video and do not join the free Discord. If you do, join the Discord. It's completely free and continue watching. The final cookies to crumble. So I want to talk about Bitcoin here. Let's pull it up, which is doing fantastic. So when it comes to Bitcoin, when we ran real hard on Bitcoin, let me pull my face over here where we can see me. We ran real hard on Bitcoin under COVID. Let's see if I can go back to that. We can pull up a weekly and scoot back. There we are, right there. Let's go ahead. It won't let me go over there anyways. There we are at 10,000. It was actually around 3,200 was the low, and around 4,500 is when the halving was, and we just went parabolic. So 4,500 to almost 70,000 over here. This would be the sell area. I wouldn't want to be diamond handing through all that, but that would have been the trim area. So that's a fantastic gains. Even if it's 10,000 to almost 70, you're talking about 6.5xing your money. And if it was below that, it is way more amplified. This time we had a low of 15 and we shot up here to around 104. We still have a flag. I expect this to break down and then push out of here. It may not. It may just take off from here. But, the point I'm trying to get at here is there was no crypto executive order over here. There was no banks that can now custody Bitcoin, right? SEC, well, let me finish. There was no spot ETF. Gary Gensler was, he was head of the SEC, or chairman, or whatever he was. Everyone was anti-crypto, and Bitcoin, it didn't affect it at all. Still went parabolic, right? Still went nuts. Why? Well, the halving cycle, and the dollar went lower. We were right in the halving cycle, and the dollar went lower. The most bullish thing for Bitcoin is the dollar plummeting, like going lower. Let's see if we can pull that up on UUP. We're going to go back to 2020 into 2021. I think that this is an instrument to where I can tell. Yeah, we were down a lot. Yeah, here we are. I already have it highlighted, it looks like. COVID rate cuts happened right over in here. Right around here, somewhere in here. And we plummeted. Now, a better, here's where we hiked interest rates. Everything fell. A better instrument is money sign DXY. Better instrument to look at on TOS. You got to look at that on a big boy broker. You're not pulling it up on Webull or Robinhood. But look at how we plummeted. Should really put this over in here. Over in here somewhere, we started to cut very aggressively, and we just went vertically down. We just had a violent drop, right? 27, not that this matters. Dixie is what you would look at. Dollar plummeted. Why? Rates plummeted. Money supply increased. Well, again, and that happened right in the time of halving, which was just before here. This was back in May it happened. And this was lower. It was not 10,000. It was around 4,500. 32 to 4,500 was the area, the range it was in. 3,200 was a low. 4,500, like that area for a while. I remember it like it was yesterday. And it hung out around 8, between 4,500 and 8, and had little spike ups where it started to get real volatile, rip up real fast, drop real fast, then kapow, and it ripped. Well, the dollar was down. The most bullish thing we have that can happen is not... Now, it's good for crypto, right? That Trump signs the executive order promoting crypto, paving the way for digital assets stockpile out of the U.S. Treasury. They're going to be buying it. Well, that's cool. Yeah, it'll go up somewhat. It's not going to do anything compared to the dollar going lower. That's what we need. So there's 3 cookies to crumble. This one, right? This didn't need to happen. Banks could have just been able to hold it. This is just a bonus right here. Trump says he wants to make the USA the AI and crypto capital of the world. So you say, okay, and you buy that stuff, which is what I'm doing. I'm not telling you all to do that. But I've been in crypto, which is great. So everyone coming in late here when we start to get steam is going to be all of us early people who understand the crypto halving cycles. The crypto halving cycle, that's going to be our exit liquidity there. So, it's plenty liquid. We don't need people coming in, right? So Trump signs executive order promoting crypto, paving the way for digital asset stockpile by the U.S. Treasury. So is the buying going to do a lot? Somewhat. The dollar does more, right? SEC, the SAB 121 freezing banks to provide digital asset custody, so they can hold crypto now. Yesterday, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC). Let me see if there's a better place to start here. I'll just basically explain it instead of reading this whole thing. Banks are going to be able to hold crypto, and those banks, it's probably only going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those banks that hold it are going to rip, and then other banks are going to copy that bank because they want their stock to go up. So you'll see, in my opinion, a tidal wave of banks accepting that soon here. So in layman's terms, I'll explain it to you guys. They're going to be able to hold it. Trump says he will demand, this is the one, not the other stuff. Everyone's like, oh my God, oh, crypto regulations. Crypto was not ever pinned down because of regulations. We didn't need any of this. It could have stayed a subculture community and still gone parabolic, right? Now, obviously, if they banned it and banned all the crypto apps in the US and across the EU, China, that's going to affect the price. Right, but we were already where we need to be. We're legally allowed to buy it and own it. Trump says he will demand interest rates to come down, setting up clash with Fed. Yeah, so Powell and Trump, they don't like each other from what Powell did in 2018. That's another story, and also how late the Fed was to respond to inflation. They waited for it to take off, then slowly started hiking rates. It's like, no, start hiking rates before you see any signs, slowly. And then when you start seeing signs, get real aggressive. We could have been already out of this probably, but it's going to take a lot more than that energy. Energy's about to get like clobbered. They're gonna cut the price of energy way, way down, which affects, plastic, lipstick, clothes, food, everything that's transported, everything that's made with ammonia, fertilizers made from ammonia, that can affect the price of food. We should see inflation come to a halt, hopefully here, and the rates need to go lower, yeah, but we want to see the money supply really increase and the dollar plummet so we can have a 2020 scenario where the dollar went way down over here, right? Not as intense as COVID, and I don't think it'd be as intense as COVID because they're not going to do that. They're not going to bring it to basically zero. I definitely see us going back to, this range over in here, right? And this is not a good instrument. I wish I could see Dixie. It won't. I wonder if they have another instrument for me to see. This is not gonna proceed. Okay, all right. We're not gonna go there. That really. There we go. This can help too. This is a good instrument as well. Here was COVID over here. We'll just look at the 10-year from now. They all run pretty much in sync, and there we go right there. We had started to cut interest rates. That was not related to COVID. And then right in here, 10-year just plummeted. Now the 10-year's up, and Bitcoin's doing well with the 10-year up. Can you imagine? And that is very bearish right there, but a little drop is not too much. I want to see it plummet. Can you imagine if we really came all the way down to, like, let's say the 200 here, or even lower, came down to this range on the 10-year? That would just send crypto going parabolic. So yeah. There's some deregulation going on. That looks like this could suck back a bit, then close a shooting star, and we could fall, which is what I'd like to see. But this also looks bullish to me. Yeah, let me go ahead and remove this right here. That's annoying me. That does look bullish. I'd like this to be a shooting star and Trump to start fighting with Powell and say, get them lower right now. Money supply up, right? Inflation. Well, energy will be cut in half, and that's what was missing this whole time is the cost of energy. No, not draining the strategic reserves to artificially lower the price of energy. Getting the price of energy way down. I'm talking about slashing it in half. That will be, you want a good economy, you got to have cheap energy, and that is a long conversation to have. And a lot of people don't understand that. They simply just look at the Fed, right? Government and the Fed need to work together to get inflation under control. We had that should have been done over the last 3 years. The Fed raised, they hiked, they did their part, but they were late to react and pressure. They should have been pressuring the government, but that's not their place to do that. They have their tools. They do what they're available to do. They can't lower the cost of energy. They say, okay, we're going to use our tools. If you listen to Powell, very smart guy, definitely don't agree with him on how long he waited and how long the Fed was so late to react on everything. But you got to have the government come in there, downsizing the government, shrinking the size of the government. We can see in Argentina. Is it working? It's working, isn't it? So let's do something that works. I don't understand why people wouldn't want to do something that would work. Reduce government spending, smaller government, cheap energy, less regulation. The less regulation part can kind of be inflationary, but that's because things will be going well, right? So we don't want things to just not go well for the sake of inflation. You got to try to, it's like cooking a steak. You want it medium rare. You don't want it burnt. You don't want it raw, right? You want it environment to where everybody wins. And what that means is inflation coming under control as well as not harming the economy. I don't like that at all. I really don't like this at all here on the 10-year, but I'd like to see this plummet and this flag fail. A failed bull flag is very bearish. A failed bear flag is very bullish. A failed head and shoulders is extremely bullish, right? And vice versa. A failed inverted head and shoulders is very bearish. So the only hope I see here, now Trump and Powell are going to clash. Powell said he is not going to resign, and his term isn't up till 2026, and they'll obviously get someone in there that's, at that point, it's kind of too late. We need this to go like starting now for the sake of the crypto cycle. We want to see this body come down to about there, right? Just a little bit and close. We have 6 days left till the end of 7 days left till 7 days left. It's the 24th, 31st is the end of the month, and this will close. We're on a monthly, right? So this is a monthly candlestick. We want that to come down. You want the wick twice as long as the body. We'll at least have a confirmed shooting star and could start plummeting. I would love that. I would love that. But until something's done when it comes to the Fed, I don't think we're going to change course. I think it may just chop around, but we need this down. We need it plummeting like over here so that Bitcoin, I already showed you the chart, can do what it did in that time. Yeah, guys, again, that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, that's great. That's a bonus. At least we are not at risk of them ending it, and this is a great bonus for it to go up more. Yeah, great. This is the big one. Banks being able to hold it, right? Great. Thumbs up. Is it going to do much? Yeah, I suppose. A little bit. What's the whammy? That right there. This right here. We did not need anything to happen. Spot ETF, nothing. None of that needed to happen. As long as they're not attacking it, that would have done, that just would have been it. This would have been it right here. Getting rates down and getting them down now and fast, increasing the money supply, interest rates way down. I'd love to see the Fed rate at like 3. That would be great. Getting the Fed rate to 3.5 to 3. Fantastic. That would get things moving. That would get Bitcoin to possibly 200K. I see anywhere between 170 and 200 this cycle. I don't want this to be a delayed fuse. I really do not want this to be a delayed fuse. Let's see if we can pull this up. Where can I pull up Bitcoin's price history? You know what? There's two scenarios. Okay. All right. Let's put my face up here. Put my face down here. All right. Let's take a look at this. Zoom in a little bit more here. All right. I sound like the painter guy with the afro right now, where he's whispering, looking at the detail. Right? What was his name? Bob Ross. Those of you that are 35 and older know what I'm talking about. So we have this classic one where right after the halving, green lines of the halving, we took off, peaked in April, right? After the halving, the following year. After the halving, sorry, ignore me right there. Now we kind of had the same setup where we started to take off somewhat immediately. Right? Keep in mind we're in a high interest rate environment. That's not the case over here. We were already low. Rates were already going down before COVID, after Powell took them up. If we see the orange, which we've seen the orange other than there every time, you know, that the top of the orange is 242. The bottom's around and 180, 190, right? That would be great if we, and seeing the top of the orange, we're around 240. Depending on where that's going to be. Now, what worries me is it could be this scenario over here, the 2016 halving. This is when I got into it. It just slowly went up, and it was great emotionally because every time you bought, it kept going up. I'd buy more, and it'd keep going up for like over like a year and a half. It was just continual buying, and it continually going up, and you being angry you didn't buy more. And I was poor at the time, was buying it on a credit card. On a Chinese app, you could use a credit card. How insane is that? That's how crazy it was back then. But anyways, so after the halving, it like fell. It rose right before the halving dropped, kind of like this time. And slowly, let's see, the halving was over here in July, and then right around June, July, and it never picked back up again until the end of the year. Like 5 months later, it started to get steam. We're in 2017, right? So then it peaked almost in 2018. I remember this perfectly, sitting at my cubicle in my crappy job at Granite Telecommunications in Addison, Texas. Me and the guy on the other side of the cubicle, he got up. I can't remember his name. And now he was like, dude, we just hit 20 grand. And it went parabolic. It looked like Tilray when Tilray hit 300 and got halted. Those veteran traders, you all remember the old days when Tilray was going nuts. It was like the same setup. And it never looked back. And then it just went down. And everybody kept buying, and it kept going lower. And they kept buying, and it kept going lower. So, yeah, until we had COVID. And we picked back up. But this is the scenario. Is it going to be like this, where we rip right after? Or is it going to be like this, where we're just slowly grinding up? Is it going to be a combination of two, of both, right? Where it went December the next year. This one just went parabolic. We were newer in the halving cycle. That went forever. But we're just going to keep our eyes peeled on the orange area. Anywhere in the orange area, I want to start taking some profits. Alts will go last. Bitcoin first, then miners, then alts. Right? After Bitcoin's seen its high, even if it's going down, all coins will just go parabolic. They'll disconnect and not care. Miners will follow Bitcoin because they have Bitcoin and they own it. When Bitcoin starts to just go parabolic and starts ripping, miners will then go nuts. And they won't care at that point whether Bitcoin's going up or down. They'll just start going crazy. They'll go on like a 2-month tear. Let's go ahead and get out of this. We'll pull up Mara. One more thing here. All right, let's go over to a weekly. Let's come back here. Here's where we went nuts. I wouldn't worry about that one and holding for a dip and then hoping. I'm not doing that. We're at $1.66. Was that a quarter? 25 cents to 20 cents. And we went, let's see, we're in beginning of November. And it went all the way through April. So a 4-month tear. That's pretty good. Up to $57. Should I have held it to 83, You don't know at that point. You're probably going to be like, well, maybe it's over, and you're going to be selling because it's like it's squeezing. It's not acting normal, squeezing and then being shorted and then squeezing and then bear cave coming out with reports. You know, you might be shaken out. I'm just going to be selling out of the money covered calls until the shares are taken from me. But we had a good basically 4-month run on this, and I think that it could start any moment now. And we could run to April, in my opinion. That would be great. Over here, you know, July. God, that ran for a while. Let's take a look at Riot. Riot was more solid, right? $3. It was 50 cents, 19 to 20 cents there. 297 and just went straight here. We're in December to February. So December, January, February, 3-month run. Look at that big flag right there. Beautiful flag with a gigantic pop. I mean, even if I sold early up in here, that would have been great. It peaked out around 80 bucks. So 3-month run. I like the TA here a lot. Linear chart on. Let's back up. Let's go to a monthly. Let's turn the linear chart on. Linear chart looks great to me. Looks real good. Mara. Linear chart off. Mara looks fantastic following this trend line. Funds have just started to buy. Announcement came through in the Discord. So even if we get up to here again, I'd be happy 33. It would be awesome to see 84 if that happens. But, you know, I can assume right around here would be great. Anywhere in the 30s to the 50s. 50 would be my PT on this. If I get that, that's quite a lot of money. That's a large chunk of money in my pocket. That would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. There's 30 G's right in that there, plus the covered calls. If you're selling a covered call at that point, a $50 covered call when this thing's at like 43 and it's been going parabolic, you're going to be getting 800 per. You know, 5 times 8 to 1,000. That could be another 5,000 bucks right there selling covered calls. So, and I'll go into my next video after this, the best shorts at the end of this cycle, and I'm talking about for 2026. You know, December to January of 2020, December 2026 to January 2027. The shorts I'm going to have in place here. Oh my God! No, it's not going to be on miners. I'll get into that. We'll get into that. If you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more. Quick recap. Bitcoin will go first. Look for interest rates to plummet, money supply to go up. Screw all the other, you know, new executive orders. That's nothing compared to that. Compared to interest rates and money supply increasing, interest rates going down. Bitcoin first. Miners second. We'll go second. Alts third. Alts for the last. They could be running into December next year. Right? So if you guys like this information, make sure to like and comment for more. Join the Discord completely free. You can join the Discord in bio.